Grade 9s, and welcome to another video with algebra, where we're going to look at algebraic expressions and especially the distribution. How a distribution is just a fancy word for distributing, which means multiplying into a bracket. All right, so why do we teach you this? I started with my class where I said on the board, if you've got 6 plus 1 times by 2, we can see that if we had to simplify it, 6 plus 1 is 7, and 2 times 7 gives you 14. But what if that the law, or you cannot add the 6 and the 1? Another way of working it out is by saying 2 times by 6, which is 12, plus 2 times 1, which gives you 2. And do you see that it also gives you 14? So why do I say that you cannot add them? So if we look at these examples here in front of us, can you see that the 2x minus 3, they are not like terms? So we cannot add and subtract by simplifying that bracket then inside the bracket. So then we are relying now on our distributive law. All right, distribution. So what we're going to do is this 3x on the outside, he needs to multiply with 2x and a negative 3. So what I'm going to do is, just by the show of arrows, I'm first going to multiply the 3x with the 2x, and then the 3x also has to multiply with not just 3, but a negative 3. So let's look what our answers will be then. Let's do it nice and blue. Okay. So I always, when we multiply, I always remind my students of the snare. First we multiply the signs, then the numbers, and then we apply the exponent rules. Okay, in short, snare. All right, so first the signs. A positive times a positive is a positive, so you're not going to write that. So we've done the signs. Then the numbers. 3 times 2 is 6. And then the exponent law, x times x is x. We keep the same base and we add the exponents. Remember, there's a 1 and a 1 over there. Okay. Then next step, a positive times a negative is a negative. 3 times 3 is 9. And x times, there's no other x's to simplify with, will just be x. All right, and then afterwards you must always check whether you've got any like terms left that you can add and subtract. All right, so the same with this one. If we have to distribute, a negative 4a, fancy word for distribute, is multiplying. So we're going to multiply the negative 4a with a squared. And we're going to multiply the negative 4a with with a negative 2a, and also with a positive 3. Let's look what our answers will be. All right. So negative times a positive, first our signs. Negative times a positive is a negative. 4 times 1 will give you 4. And a times a to the power 2, our exponent law is keep the same base and add the exponents. All right, 1, remember if there's nothing, there's a 1 over there. Then the next term, negative times a negative is a positive. 4 times 2 is 8. A to the power 1 plus 1, it keeps on erasing. 1 plus 1 is 2. And then lastly, a negative times a positive, took the negative away as well. It keeps on erasing. Negative times a positive is a negative. 4 times 3 is 12, and the a just comes down. All right, there's no like terms left, and that is your answer. So again, negative 4a is negative 4a to the power 3. Negative times a negative is a positive, 8a squared. Negative times a positive, negative 12a. Okay, so the sooner you practice this in, the easier it will become to say a times a squared is a to the power 3. Then it will just become more natural when you're multiplying. Okay, then with these ones, I've made them very, very similar. So C and D is very similar to E and F with just a little change, and just to show you how the whole sum then will change at the end. So if you have a look here, 3 minus 4m, I cannot simplify that. It's not like terms. And at the back, and at the back, it is multiplied with a negative 2m. So why is it multiplied? Because of these brackets that is around them, it indicates that the negative 2m has to multiply with 3 minus 4m. But because we are used to distributing from the front, I'm going to rewrite it like this. And I know then that I'm going to multiply negative 2m with 3 minus 4m. So let's go ahead and do that. A negative times a positive is a negative. 2 times 3 is 6, and a m comes down. Negative times a negative is a positive. 2 times 4 is 8, and m times m is m squared. Any like terms? No. M and m squared are different. So can you see the like terms? If that's a m and that's a m squared, this one has a 1 on top, and that one has a 2, and that is why they are not like terms. The base and the exponent has to be exactly the same. So if the negative 2m didn't have the brackets around, it will just be a normal adding and subtracting sum. So 3 minus 4m minus another 2m. So which ones are like terms? Can you see that those two are both like terms? So if I owe 4 and I owe another 2, then I have 3 and I owe 6 m's then. 3 minus 6m. Okay, you see how it differs? Different answers as well. Same with E and F. So can you see that here at the back, I've got a multiplication of negative 2x. And over here, I didn't have it in brackets. So how does it differ? Let's quickly have a look. If you've got the negative 2x and that's being multiplied with a negative here in front as well, all of these have to multiply together. But the easiest is to multiply those two together first, and then your answer you multiply with the x squared minus 2x plus 1. So let's start. Negative times a negative 2x is a positive 2x. And that has to now distribute into this trinomial over there. When we've got 1, 2, 3 terms, we call it a trinomial. 2x times x squared gives you 2x to the power of 3, minus 2 times 2 is 4x squared, and a positive 2x times a positive 1 gives you positive 2x, and no like terms. All right, over here, remember the only reason or the only way that you can drop your brackets is when you multiply with whatever's in front into your brackets. So what is in front of the bracket? Here is a negative. Here, this one was also actually supposed to be written in the front because he's attached. Can you see to that? It's a multiplication. So I just went ahead and I multiplied with the front, which will then distribute. But because we are used to distributing from the front, it's best to put it then in front. Okay, so over here, just a negative has to go in, and you will see every time, let me just redo that, sorry. Every time when you have a negative going into a bracket, it changes all the signs of the term inside the bracket. So negative times x squared gives you a negative x squared, and a negative times a negative is a positive 2x, and a negative times a positive 1 is a negative 1. And then this minus 2x just comes down as normal because he wasn't in brackets. And now we're going to look for any like terms. We've got the plus 2x minus 2x. So if I've got 2 rand and I take the 2 rand away, I'm actually left with no rands anymore. So your answer is negative x squared minus 1. Okay, because those two actually I always scrape it up like that because it falls away. It becomes 0. Let's look at these two that are also very similar. In grade 9, you'll see that we are dealing with these if these weren't like terms. But at the moment, they are still like terms. So we can go ahead and subtract those two from each other. So 5p minus 3p gives you 2p. And because it's in the beginning of a sum, the brackets can actually fall away. But I can only let it fall away if I simplify within the brackets there. Ach nee man, kom nou. Sorry about that. There we go. Okay, so I have to simplify within the brackets. I'm going to give this thing a hiding. Okay, 5p minus 3p is 2p. Let's just carry on here at the bottom. Then what is left? 2p squared minus 3p plus 1. Why wasn't I allowed to let the second bracket fall there? Because I haven't distributed whatever was in front into the bracket. If a bracket starts off, if a sum starts off with a bracket, you are allowed to drop those brackets because there's nothing that is in front, or positive is in front there, but it wouldn't affect any of the terms inside the bracket. Okay, and now the 2p has to distribute in, and now I'm left with 4p to the power 3 minus 6p squared plus 2p. Let's just check it again. 2 times 2 is 4p to the power 3 minus 2 times 3 is 6p to the power 2. Positive times a positive is a positive. 2p times 1 is 2. Now, how is this different to this one? And this one, I want you to realize this is the devil. He says, come, I want you to subtract these two. Come on, they like terms. It looks so nice and lekker. Go ahead and do it. And you say, no, no, no. Only way I can drop those brackets is whatever is in front of the brackets distributes into those brackets. Okay, oopsie. All right, so now we're going to say, all right, 5p, you have to come down and just wait with us while we distribute the negative 3p in there. So a negative times a positive is a negative. 3 times 2 is 6. P to the power 1 times p to the power 2 gives you p to the power 3. A negative times a negative is a positive. 3. If I bring my thing too close, it dies out. 3 times 3 is 9. P to the power 2. And then a negative times a positive is a negative. 3p times 1 is 3p. All right, so this 5p just comes down and the negative 3p has to distribute in. Lots of students will do this with this h sum over here. Okay, so please remember, it looks so luring just to say 5p minus 3p is 2p and then distribute. But remember BEDMAS. BEDMAS is brackets and exponents first, and then division and multiplication, and very last is addition and subtraction. So if you're going to subtract 3p from 5p over here, then you are actually going from the back forward. So you must remember that we must always follow our order of operation. Okay, not just when they are telling us to do so. And then, are there any like terms? Yes, we've got 5p minus 3p, which is 2p. And then minus 6p to the power 3 plus 9p squared. All right, and you'll see later on, it's not wrong if you leave it like this, but we like to, mathematically, we always write it in descending order of exponents. So we're going to first write the exponent that's the biggest with the sign in front. Then then the one straight after, I'm not going to do a circle around there, plus 9p squared, and then very last plus 2p. Okay, and that's your answer. Last two sums, and then I will let you be. Over here, the 5x has to go in, as well as the negative 3 has to go into these three terms over there. So 5x times x is 5x squared. Positive times a negative is a negative. 5 times 2 is 10. X times y is xy. Minus 3x squared. Negative negative times a negative is a positive. 3 times 2 is 6x. Negative times a positive. Sorry, there was a positive over there. Negative times a positive is a negative. 3 times 3 is 9y. Then we're going to look for any like terms. So here's 5x squared. And please use highlighters. Use as many colors as you can in class. Maths is supposed to look pretty and fun. So there's 2 like terms over there. The others are not at all like terms because this one's got an x over here and this one's got a y and this one has got an xy. So the only 2 that we can simplify is the 5x squared minus 3x squared will leave you 2x squared, and then the rest I'm just going to write down because it comes down as my answer. Okay, number I. Number J. All right, here we've got 3 distributions taking place. The 2 must go in. The negative 3 must go in. And the positive 3 has to go in. I'm going to, does A. All right. So then we are left with 2 times x is 2x plus 2 times 4 is 8. Minus 3 times x is negative 3x. And a negative times a negative is a positive. 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 3 times x is 3x. And a positive times a negative is a negative. 3 times 8 is 24. And now we're going to highlight all our like terms. We've got a positive 2x minus 3x plus 3x. So do you see the sign in front goes with that term? So now you are more than welcome to, especially if you struggle with especially the integers going into the negative numbers, you pop in 2 minus 3 plus 3 in your calculators, omit the x, and then at the end just put it with your answer. So 2 minus 3 plus 3 will leave you with 2x. And then, just to make it nice and pretty, let's go do the other terms. A positive 8 plus 6 minus 24. So 8 plus 6 is 14. 14 minus 24. Let me just double check. Minus 24 gives you negative 10. Oops, let's do it in black. Minus 10. So there's your answer, 2x minus 10. All right. Oh, thank you so much for watching. I hope it helps you a lot. Whenever I discuss something in my class, I do always cater for the students who, if I maybe go a bit faster, then they always come and say, oh, ma'am, please will you make a video on this? And then I gladly do so. So this is for students who maybe just needed a little bit more help with the distribution, or maybe you needed help with multiplying with your exponents, following the rules. But I really hoped it helped, and I'm looking forward to making another video. Please remember to subscribe, like, leave me a comment. I love to hear what you are thinking, and I will gladly respond to your comments. Have a wonderful day further, grade 8s. Bye.